It now comes down to only two, Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson. Voters now have several weeks to compare them and decide. This morning, the fight for City Hall is on.
I want to thank the voters of Chicago for making this campaign about the issues and nothing but the issues.
Paul Vallis, the former head of CPS, facing off against Cook County Commissioner and former teacher Brandon Johnson in the April runoff.
I am so freaking proud.
Voters will have a clear choice in choosing Chicago's next mayor. The 69-year-old Vallis, considered more conservative, versus the 46-year-old progressive Johnson. Vallis has been a candidate before, but this is the first time he's ever won an election. Other candidates painted him as a closet Republican, but addressing supporters last night, Vallis said he's a lifelong Democrat and once again stressed crime is a top priority.
Public safety is the overriding issue, but we will not have true public safety in this city until the schools become part of the public safety solution.
In his speech, Johnson, who finished a distant number 2, thanked the other candidates who didn't make the runoff and had these choice words for Vallis.
This is the truth about Paul Vallis. He has literally failed everywhere he has gone. In fact, Paul Vallis is the author of The Tale of Two Cities. Chicago, we cannot have this man as the mayor of the city of Chicago.
The runoff is set for April 4th. That's just 5 weeks from now. Val and Terrell.
All right, Jess, thank you. Lori Lightfoot made history when she was elected mayor of Chicago. Now she's made history in defeat.
Yeah, Diane Patthew has more on that live from City Hall this morning. Diane.
That's right, Val and Terrell. She made history 4 years ago as the first black woman and openly gay mayor of Chicago. This morning, she's making history once again by becoming the first elected incumbent in 40 years to lose re-election. Mayor Lightfoot had a contentious relationship with city council members here over at City Hall, but last night she told the crowd she was proud of her work in the city. Safety and crime were the top issues for voters, something the top two candidates pushed during their campaigns. She was criticized by them for rising crime numbers. Lightfoot says this was a tough year for incumbents, but she is holding her head up high.
And regardless of tonight's outcome, we fought the right fights and we put this city on a better path. No doubt about it. Now, as we all know in life, in the end, you don't always win every battle, but you never regret taking on the powerful and bringing in the light.
Lightfoot says her daughter in high school, she does plan on staying in Chicago because of that. She says she will be rooting for Chicago's next mayor. Her last day in office here at City Hall is May 15th. Back to you.
Alrighty, Diane Patthew, City Hall this morning. Diane, thanks. While early voting was brisk in the city, turnout on Election Day was somewhat sluggish.
Yeah, right now we're going to break down some of the voting data. Here with us live is Max Bever with the Chicago Board of Elections. Good morning to you, Max.
Good morning.
Talk about voting turnout. Was it what you expected?
You know, unfortunately, it seemed we were a little optimistic heading into Election Day, looking at that record-breaking vote by mail and early voting turnout leading up to Election Day. Compared to 2019 and 2015, we had less people show up on actual Election Day. It seems that we have a pretty similar number of voters to 2019. People are just choosing to vote by mail more than ever.
So how big of a role is that playing in the election? I mean, I know you still got to count ballots that were coming in by mail, but voting early, did that change any dynamics at all?
There were some surprising factors that were different than other years. We saw a lot of older voters choose to early vote and vote by mail, and quicker than ever before in municipal elections. Municipal elections, people tend to make up their mind a bit later in the process, but it's quite clear that a lot of people had their candidate picked, had their issues that were important to them, were fired up, and showed up earlier. As of last night, we had just over 512,000 ballots cast so far. Now, we do have over 99,000 vote-by-mail ballots that are still outstanding. We don't expect all of those to return back to us, but around 60 to 80,000 likely will, both yesterday and through the oncoming days. We're going to count those on a rolling basis. They'll be put into our election results. Looks like we already know who our mayoral candidates are heading to April 4th runoff at this point. But these extra vote by mail ballots are going to be very important to the alderperson races because a lot of those races come down to double digits, even single digits. So I know a lot of those campaigns are going to want to count every vote heading into April 4th.
Max Bever from the Chicago Board of Elections. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Max.
Thank you.
Jesus Chuy Garcia was initially seen as having the possibility of making the runoff. He addressed his supporters last night, telling them he thinks Chicago has more of a future than ever before.
And while we came up short, we know the progress we can make when we build coalitions, when we accept our differences, when we stand together and say that we deserve better, and together we will move Chicago forward.
Businessman Willie Wilson is saying and staying hopeful and has not conceded yet.
He told supporters last night that the race was still too close to call because of mail-in ballots that still have to be counted. He did congratulate Paul Vallis for taking the #1 spot.
We appreciate you coming out tonight. And let me just say this too, is that the other one is too close to call. We have a mail-in ballot of over 100,000 people who sent in mail-in ballot. So that's too close to call.
The 74-year-old millionaire businessman struggled in the past campaigns to win votes outside of the South and West sides and worked this time around to make inroads up on the Northwest side. All right, so let's take a look. I mean, this election was significant for Chicago City Council as well when we talk about the aldermanic races. Many wards will see new representation, like the 4th Ward. That takes us in. You can see this area right along the lakefront here that comprises this: Bronzeville, Kenwood, Hyde Park. Lamont Robinson is the guy here. 46% of the vote. Of course, that's not enough. So there will be a runoff here. He got powerful endorsements along the way, including Senator Tammy Duckworth and Governor Pritzker. The seat was open after Sophia King left City Council to run for mayor.
Our message got out that we can move the 4th Ward forward with the experience that I have as a state rep, the experience that I have as an educator and a small business owner. It is really what the ward needs in order for us to move this historic ward forward.
All right, so let's go to the 1st Ward, the middle of the city right here, and that was Daniel Espada, and a runoff now, we know, against Sam Royko. Proco Joe Moreno was trying to actually win that seat back. He came in dead last place here, 8%. Then to Ward 50 here, an easy one up on the Northwest side, 68% of the vote for Deborah Silverstein, and she wins that race. And change is coming to City Council. A lot of races to cover here. The 11th Ward, we'll get on over to that too while we're at it. And that was a really, really popular race. We talked about Nicole Lee. She was the incumbent, picked by Mayor Lori Lightfoot, 31%, to Anthony Caravino, 30%. Only 17 votes separate these two in this runoff election. Here's what she told supporters last night.
I think there's still a lot of people out there who feel like the votes don't matter. And I'm here to speak to every single one of you who maybe sat it out. Your vote matters. It matters a lot.
All right, so that's the 11th Ward. Let's go to the 12th Ward, and we know that we will see a new alderperson there, Julia Ramirez, coming in with 56% of the vote, up against Annabella Barca. She's the incumbent here with 44%. We got video from Ramirez's campaign party. Mayor Lightfoot, again, appointed Barca just last December to replace former Alderman George Cardenas. And here's what Ramirez had to say about her vision.
We want to make sure that we're refocusing the way in which we're spending money, and that's investing in people. And so what that looks like is providing opportunity, providing programs, and making sure we have fully funded schools. Thank you.
One of the most watched aldermanic races was for Chicago's 14th Ward. This ward covers parts of Gage Park and Archer Heights. The big story here is who's going to hold the seat that was held by longtime Alderman Ed Burke. Burke is not seeking re-election. Of course, he faces a federal corruption trial that's set for November. So Ward 14, we go here. Only two candidates competing in this race. Helu Gutierrez, 65% of the vote. So she's the winner here, not headed to a runoff. Gutierrez, who immigrated from Mexico when she was 15, got emotional last night talking about her time in office, what it'll mean, and what this change will mean for her largely Hispanic constituents.
It's going to be clear. We're going to serve every single resident the same. We're bringing equity to this ward. Every single resident is going to say the good type of quality services that they deserve. I migrated to this country full of dreams, and I'm a mama too, and a former educator.
The new alderman of the 14th ward right there, Helu Gutierrez. And we're going to be going through more election results on this newscast. Remember, you can always find all of the election results and the coverage on our website, ABC7Chicago.com, and on our news app.
This broke overnight. A 55-year-old woman was shot and killed getting out of her car on Chicago's west side. Police say shots were fired just before 10 p.m. in the 5500 block of West Lemoyne. That's in the Austin neighborhood. A relative of the victim, who was also leaving the car, saw that she had been shot in the face. No one is in custody. The FBI has released surveillance photos of 3 people they believe are responsible for the shooting of a security guard. It involved an armored truck on Chicago's south side. The shooting was in a strip mall near 87th and Lafayette. The FBI says the guard was shot once. His partner drove him to the Roseland Hospital, where he is being treated. Nothing was stolen from the truck.
Today, sentencing for longtime political operative Patrick Doherty. Doherty pleaded guilty last July to federal bribery and tax charges in a scheme to get red light cameras installed in Oak Lawn. He faces between 57 and 71 months in prison for that scheme. Doherty also served as chief of staff to former Cook County Commissioner Jeff Tobolsky.
A reminder, if you receive SNAP benefits, the temporary boost put in place by Congress during the pandemic ends today. Benefits will decrease from around $55 to $255 per person every month. The change depends on income and household size. Chicago residents in need of a free food distribution or a meal program can call 211. For years, we've watched his weather forecast and his severe weather reporting.
And it all comes down to today. Our friend and our colleague Phil Schwartz is retiring. After 28 years here at ABC7, Phil is leaving the business to spend more time with his family and to travel more. While Phil started here in 1995, he's been on the air for nearly 4 decades. Certainly wish him the best as he embarks on this new chapter of his life, and he's going to be with us on this show a little bit later on this hour.
All right, you're live in local news, just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Coming up, Tracy's got your AccuWeather forecast next.
First, though, a look at more election results. We'll be right back.
Good morning to you. Well, I know we've been all giddy, all excited about today, feeling like spring. But I do want you to be aware of what is coming down the pipeline here on Friday. So we're watching Friday very closely. The track is still very uncertain with this whole storm. So right now, it looks like it will be a heavy, wet snow. There could be some rain mixed in too. And this is one of the early looks at our futurecast here, 7:30 in the morning on Friday, and how it's just starting to nudge its way in. I think the afternoon evening rush is going to be much more significantly impacted by this whole mess than the morning commute, but it will get underway as the morning commute is kind of ramping up and then winding down. Model 1 has the higher snow totals of maybe even at least 6 inches of accumulation from the city on north. Model 2 keeps it off to the east. Well, as we look at today, yeah, I know. I was out walking yesterday, saw some flowers starting to blossom. Look where these high temperatures are going to be today. Now, there will be a little bit of a lake breeze, so it will be cooler along the lakefront, especially later this afternoon. But even still, along the lakefront, I think we touch 50 degrees. Forecast highs. Some of us are going to hit 60 degrees here today. Not a record. Record high today is 71. Roz?
Yeah, we've got some new problems to talk about now in northwest Indiana. Just getting word of a crash eastbound 8094 approaching Grant. There is lane blockage, so I suspect we're going to see some delays there as well. The average delay on the Illinois side, though, on the inbound expressways, that's up to 45 minutes, and we still have this massive backup southbound on I-55 approaching US 6 because of the truck fire. You can see the big backup there. It starts at Route 59. Chopper 7 still over the scene. They've been out there for over an hour, well over an hour, and we only have the left lane open. Now, most of the fire is out. The driver was able to separate the cab from the trailer and get out safely. They do have the heavy wrecker on the scene, so once they completely extinguish that fire, they can go ahead and dolly that thing up and get it out of there. But then they've got all that cleanup to do on the road, and it's going to take some time. So we are looking at about a 3 to 4 mile backup for southbound 55 traffic, and that is about a 35-minute delay if you're sitting in it. So you really don't want to sit in it. US 6, Hobolt, all those roads that people are using to get around it, they're really bottlenecked as well. It's going to be a big problem for a while. Terrell and Val.
All right, Roz, thank you. Still to come, we're celebrating Phil Short's final day at ABC7 as he heads into retirement. He's going to join us live a little later this hour.
Yep, you don't want to miss it. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Check 1, 2.
Well, right now we're going to join our Good Morning America viewers. Tanya Babbage will have a news update on TV in just a minute. You'll see it here as well.
And when we come back, a multi-million-dollar settlement involving the family of the late Kobe Bryant.
Plus, we have much more post-election night coverage still ahead.
Yep, but first, here's some more election results. We'll be right back.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It is 7:23. I'm Tanya Babich. Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson will face off to be the next mayor of Chicago. Vallis and Johnson defeated 7 other candidates to advance to the runoff, including incumbent Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who finished in 3rd place. Vallis is the former head of CPS. Johnson is a Cook County commissioner and former teacher. The runoff election is scheduled for April 4th. Let's get a check of our ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Hi there, Tanya. Good morning, everybody. Well, right now in Elmhurst, we're at 38 degrees. It is 36 degrees now in Bolingbrook, 38 right now in Waukegan, 37 at the lakefront, and 35 degrees right now in Chesterton, Indiana. We are on our way up. First day of March, average high is around 41, and we're going to make our way to about 57 degrees here this afternoon. So it is going to feel very, very spring-like. But it turns cooler tomorrow. Colder here on Friday. Looks like a heavy wet snow could be coming our way. Roz is coming your way after this break.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love, with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be a slow go on both sides of the border. We've got a crash eastbound 8094 at Grant. That's got the right lane blocked. State Police say for the next 45 minutes. And 45 minutes to 1 hour, that's going to be the range of travel times inbound on the Illinois side between the tri-state and downtown. Everything bottlenecked, but not nearly as bad as southbound 55 in the Shorewood area just before US 6, Chopper 7 over what was a fully engulfed truck fire. This is a Toronto bred truck, and Chopper 7 was telling us it appeared to be fully loaded with hamburger buns. Well, the driver was able to detach the cab from the trailer, get out safely, but they're still trying to get it completely extinguished. Long back up there from before Route 59. All the surface streets, Humboldt, US 6, all bottlenecked as well.
Yep. Hey everybody, welcome back. So we're no, it's all good. Val's face. So that's what happens when you're talking and you don't want anybody to hear what you're saying, and then you get caught talking. Yeah.
And you didn't know you were on camera.
Beautiful day coming up today. We'll check in with Tracy on the forecast in a little bit.
All right. Vanessa Bryant is receiving a nearly $30 million settlement over graphic photos of the helicopter crash that killed her husband, basketball star Kobe Bryant, and their daughter Gianna. Those photos were taken by deputies and firefighters responding to the scene of January of 2020. They were shared mostly between coworkers. Vanessa says she suffers from panic attacks, knowing the photos might still be out there.
Today, lawyers for former Empire actor Jussie Smollett have until today to file an appeal with an Illinois appellate court. Smollett's defense team was granted a 5th extension to appeal his conviction. He was found guilty of felony disorderly conduct for lying to Chicago police in 2019. Smollett claimed that he was the victim of a racially motivated attack in the Streeterville neighborhood.
Still to stream this morning, we will get to an update on today's top stories.
Yeah, plus ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington will be with us to talk about what we can expect for the April Chicago mayoral runoff. It's less than 5 minutes from now. Hang on.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Now at 7:30, taking a look at the morning's top story. Chicago's mayoral election has come down to 2 candidates. Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson received the most votes, sending them to a runoff election on April 4th.
Meanwhile, Mayor Lori Lightfoot's term will come to an end in May. Lightfoot came in 3rd last night. She is the first elected incumbent in 40 years to lose a 2nd term. Going to be talking to ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington about the election results in just a few minutes.
And it may be soon tougher for some families to put food on the table. A temporary increase in SNAP benefits put in place by Congress during the pandemic ends today. Changes depend on income and household size. Chicago residents in need of a free food distribution or meal program can call 211. Good morning and welcome back. I'm Val Warner.
And good to be with you this morning. I'm Terrell Brown. Let's go outside, see what's going on, how we're doing right now. 30, 90, 40 degrees already this morning.
Isn't it nice?
It's awesome.
Isn't it lovely?
Love, isn't it wonderful?
Oh, we could have more and more days like this, but we do know that Friday is going to be quite the different story. Tracy's standing by with a look at the weather. Trace.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I love hearing you two in harmony like that. That's so cute. We need more of your singing on this show. All right, right now we could be singing Sunshine on My Shoulders. Yeah, those of you who are, anyway, yeah. I've given my age away. 39 degrees at O'Hare, 38 degrees right now at Midway, 37 degrees right now over at the lakefront. Today, what a magnificent day. And we are going to see temperatures headed well into the 50s around the area. Not a record. The record high is 71. So we're going to talk more about that Friday issue. That's coming up in my next report. But we need to let Roz step in and do some talking about what's going on traffic-wise. Roz?
Yeah, Tracy, we've got a couple things happening on, either side of the border. I don't know where that camera went, but here's what's going on in Northwest Indiana. We've got a South Shore delay, and this is going to be on train Eastbound train number 205, 20 to 25 minutes because of positive train control issues. And if you're driving eastbound on 8094 at Grant, we still have this crash for another half an hour, according to state police. It's got the right lane blocked, and it is starting to cause about a 1.5-mile backup. On the Illinois side of things, 55 minutes to an hour 20. Yep, there we go again. And southbound 55, absolutely no improvements there. It is jammed from before Route 59 all the way down to US 6 in the Shorewood area with this truck fire. It's mostly extinguished, but there's still smoke coming out, and we still have only one lane open to traffic, and that's why we have that significant delay of 35 to 40 minutes. That's how much time you would be spending in that delay if you get stuck in it. So even US 6 and Humboldt, a lot of the streets around it, they are also backed up as people are trying to use those as an alternate. So grab your patience before you head out the door. Val and Terrell.
All right, got it. Thanks. Good to know, Roz. Appreciate it. Now back to Vote 2023 this morning.
If you're just joining us this morning or waking up, here are the very latest election numbers. Take a look at your screen. The battle for the leader of the City Hall is set. Vallis came in first with 34% of the vote. Brandon Johnson in second with 20% of the vote. And as you see there, Lori Lightfoot coming in at third with 17% of the vote.
ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington is here to talk about that and more and a closer look at these results. Laura, good to see you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
All right, so we want to start with that gap because we're just looking at the numbers between Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson. 35% to 20%. First of all, is that a big gap?
It's a significant gap, especially if you're Brandon Johnson. It presents an opportunity, though, to gain ground. He's got to gain ground in order to be able to. Politics is about addition, not subtraction.
Right.
He's got a lot of room, though, because think about the black vote, for example, which I think should be part of his base. We had 7 black candidates in the race. Now we're down to 1. So all the other candidates were pulling some of that black vote away from him. Now he has the ability to pull all of it in. Progressive vote the same way. He was competing with that with Chuy Garcia. Now Chuy Garcia is out of it. It's likely, or I think it's likely, that Chuy Garcia may support him. That's another area he can grow in. Paul Vallis, of course, won some of that vote as well. And then, of course, the Latino vote, which is kind of up for grabs. Be interesting to see how that plays out because the Latinos community is a fairly politically diverse community. You have some conservatives and you have some progressive there.
Well, on the heels of what you just asked, Terrell, didn't Brandon Johnson have a surge towards the end of? So, I mean, if he were able to do it, because I didn't think he was going to be as high up as he was. Yeah, early on. And then within the last few weeks, the tide changed.
Well, when he first came into office, he was very much an unknown. He was a Cook County commissioner.
Right.
People didn't know him citywide. He got his ads up on the air early. He was able to really grow his profile, get involved with the debates. He presented well in those debates, so that helped him move up. Right. At the same time, Chuy Garcia was losing ground, partly because of the negative campaign that was delivered to him.
So where I'm going with this is he has 5 weeks. Right. And if he was able to do what he did to get to a runoff in 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like, then maybe, is that possible?
He's got the momentum. He's a new face on the block. He's a fresh face in politics. He's well liked. He has potential to pick up support from a lot of his fellow elected officials. So he's got a lot of room to move. I think he's going to get a lot of national attention because he is seen as the new leader of progressive left in Chicago, and the progressive left is a growing cadre of elected officials both here in Chicago and across the country in the Democratic Party.
So endorsements looks like the next big thing that we'll probably see over the next 5 weeks or so. What moves do you expect to see happen here?
Well, Willie Wilson is the one I'm watching very closely because he wants to be a kingmaker. He was a kingmaker last time 4 years ago when he endorsed Lori Lightfoot over Tony Preckwinkle. He hinted around last night that Paul Vallis was a good friend of his when he spoke, and he is probably more in line politically with Vallis than with Johnson, so he's one to watch.
That's interesting.
Chuy Garcia, of course, another fellow progressive, was competing with Johnson for that vote. He'll be a major player. And then what will the mayor do? Where will the mayor land on this? She could have a lot.
Well, does it matter?
Oh, it does. I mean, she got what, 17% of the vote.
Okay.
She is the sitting mayor. She can say, I understand what it's like to be in this chair. I understand what it's like to run the city. Here's my choice for the person who I think could do a good job. So that has some value.
I know Paul Vallis is, we just saw the numbers, 35% to 20%, but does he need to be worried at all, or should he just still remain confident and still play that leading role?
He wants to play the front runner game. He wants to probably stay away from us in the media as much as he can and run a Rose Garden strategy. But he also is going to want to put a lot of ads. He says he wants to stay positive. He's going to put a lot of ads on the air, not so much to introduce himself to the voters, but to tell the voters why Brandon Johnson is a bad choice. And so that's going to be his strategy going forward.
I mean, and to Paul Vallis's point, a lot of this has come down to the issues this time around, and the number one issue being crime.
Right.
And there's a big difference between what Paul Vallis plans to do about crime and what Brandon Johnson's plan is to deal with crime. And Paul Vallis, a little more pro-police. Brandon Johnson, I think at one time even said defund the police.
Right.
So will they continue those same messages, or do things change? Because right now, and I wouldn't say there's a pro-police wave, but the whole idea of defunding the police is not popular anymore.
Absolutely not. I think that the pro-police line is going to continue to be Vallis' line.
Yeah.
What Johnson's going to have to do is expand his view of how he would approach policing, not necessarily by just adding police, but also by adding other resources, mental health services, social services, to help take the burden off the police. That's going to be his argument going forward. He's not going to get the pro-police vote.
Yeah.
But but Vallis, he got 37%. That is the pro-police vote. There's a lot of room outside of that vote for Johnson to tap into.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we're about out of time. Laura Washington,
We got
we'll be seeing a lot more of you in the weeks to come. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for your time and insight.
And remember, you can always find the latest election results and coverage on our website, abc7chicago.com.
We are back with more after the break.
Good morning to you. Well, we greet you here on this Wednesday morning, March the 1st. Meteorological spring is upon us. It's going to feel and look like spring today. Then there's Friday, when it will look like winter. And we do have maybe a rain-snow mix, and this is going to be the consistency of more of a heavy, wet snow, the kind that's more difficult to shovel. And if you have a snow blower, yeah, it gets clogged up easier. Here's Futurecast. Starts to bring precipitation in as kind of our morning commute is winding up and then winding down. But for the most part, it looks like we will have snow in the area here throughout the afternoon and evening commute. As of right now, I think that's the one is going to be more impacted. Model 1 is suggesting the heavier snow totals are city, west, and north, with possibly as much as 6 inches of snow coming our way. Model 2 keeps the heavier snow off to the east. So the track, this thing is still 1,000 miles away. The track is still very, very uncertain. So I want to emphasize that. What I am certain about today, it's going to feel and look a lot like spring. Roz?
We are seeing all kinds of problems on the roads and the rails. Now we've got freight interference affecting a Milwaukee West Line train, outbound train 2203, about 20 minutes behind schedule. Now, as far as the roads go, yes, we are still seeing plenty of delays. We've got a new crash in the suburbs in Carroll Stream at North and Schmale. We're looking at travel times anywhere from 55 minutes to an hour 20 between the Tri-State and downtown, and southbound 55, no relief in sight. We still only have one lane open approaching US 6. That's where we had that earlier truck fire. Still working to get everything cleared up and cleaned up. No serious injuries, but serious delays from before Route 59 all the way down to the scene of this incident in the Shorewood area. And it doesn't look like they're going to have that reopened anytime soon. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. Still to stream this morning. It's a bittersweet day around here at ABC7 as we say goodbye to our friend and colleague, Phil Shores. Here's a message from Tanya Babbage.
Phil, Cheese, all of the nicknames we have for you. I will miss you so much, but I am looking forward to seeing you outside of ABC7 as well. Enjoy every moment of this new stage in life. Love you.
I'm going to miss you, buddy, but I have a feeling I'll probably see you even more now than I have over the past couple of decades. We are celebrating my buddy Phil Schwartz. Today is his last day here at ABC7. Joins me this morning. We have had some really fun times. I mean, not just in this building, but outside.
We have. And you know, we saw that shot earlier from the shed cam.
Yeah.
And I just, I remember on some mighty cold mornings standing out there. You shouldn't be outside when it's 20 below. Right. But also looking back and thinking, it is a beautiful city. It's not without its problems, obviously, but there's a lot to be thankful about. And again, it's goodbye, but it's not goodbye. A lot of people here I'll be keeping in touch with. I just want to thank the audience also. I got a lot of cards in the last few weeks. Just really has been very thoughtful. And again, I might be filling in from time to time. So it's goodbye, but it's not goodbye permanent.
We're still going to see you more. And yes, the thing is, and for viewers who have watched Phil and his weather quizzes for so long, I can assure you that when you put your faith and your trust in Phil and his forecast, he is a brilliant meteorologist, despite going to Penn State.
Hey.
Most of my family went to Pitt. But anyway, I want to bring everybody else in who wants to join in, because everybody has something to say about Phil. And, we're just all joining here on the couch. There's his family, his beautiful wife, Michelle, whom I adore. Justin and Garrett, two young men who are just setting this world on fire in their careers and doing such terrific things. So, all right, who wants to start?
It's like a roast. Make it a roast.
Yes, please.
Because I would do this.
Oh, you sure would.
Okay.
Okay,
Roz is up for it. Okay, so here's one thing that I always remember about Phil is every year when we had Lollapalooza, he would know all of these obscure bands. That's the first time I heard, what was it, Death Cab for Cutie? What the heck is that?
And they're not a hard rock band at all. You know, everybody hears a name like that and think, oh boy, it's some headbanger stuff. But it isn't.
See what I mean?
Well, you love headbang. You love 90s music, though. 90s
I like
rock.
some of the 90s music. I like music. There's different music I like from each era. You know, I'm not like just locked into one era. There's some music I like from the 60s. There's music I like from today. So.
Oh, well, who do you like today?
You know, there's a group called Almost Monday.
Almost Monday.
Yes. that
And has
a
anybody
song
heard of
out right
this?
now.
Right.
That's really catchy.
Yeah,
I'll
no.
play it for you after the show.
Okay.
So, Phil, I want to know what happens to the Christmas jacket now?
You know what? I'll still the
red
jacket,
blazer that you wear with what color turtleneck is it?
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a gold
Gold one.
mustard colored
The
turtleneck.
Dino look.
Yes.
I'll wear
Every
that
Christmas that.
Yeah.
How long have you been wearing that for on Christmas Day?
about 20, maybe
28 years.
yeah, 28. I don't know if I wore it for all 28, but at least 20. And I'll still wear it, you know, at occasions with the family around Christmas. It's kind of it's tied to my father, who used to wear a red jacket only on Christmas. So it's like I kind of continued that tradition.
I know how much he meant to you.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
now you get to
lovely.
do it for your grandkids. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Oh, boy.
You've had lots of memorable moments here at Channel 7. And what might be one of your top memorable moments in the last year?
Oh, in the last year. I thought I was an instigator.
Oh, man.
You are a bigger instigator than me.
Me?
Yeah.
Never.
Pushing the envelope by making me say things that I normally wouldn't say.
Are you going to tell the people what you like? He likes his meat hanging over the bun.
That's.
Now tell him. Tell him.
Yeah.
Okay.
was that?
I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Terrell and I had just started this 7 a.m. streaming show, which you guys have been with us now for the last year.
Tracy's looking at me.
And I used to sit over to the side. Oh, it's good. And we were doing a talker about Wendy's, and we were finding out. We found out like there was this big revelation why Wendy's has square patties versus circular patties. Remember?
yeah.
And back in the day, it was because you can fit more square patties on the grill, so it was more efficient, it was more productive. And so Terrell, Phil, and I got to talking about how we like our patties and how we like our burgers. And do you like your patty square or round? And I think I must have said, or did you say it?
Oh, no, you started it. I said, you like having your meat hang over your bun.
I said I like the meat hanging out of the bun.
Yes, and you said, don't you, Phil? And I go, you bet.
And I think we laughed. 5 minutes?
Oh my! The whole morning.
Oh, you added into that tea too. You had a couple. I think you might have had a
Oh
moment.
no, I didn't have. What are you talking? I was an innocent little angel in that conversation.
You?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
His laughter helped.
So many memories, so many moments. We're going to keep talking about them, and I know that you've got a whole morning and afternoon of this coming up.
Yeah, and you know what? It sounds hokey, but I will miss the people the most.
No.
You know, and it's not like I'm never going to see you guys again, but it's still not the same when you don't see you on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Oh, the feeling is mutual, Phil. We will miss you.
Well, thank you.
I love you.
Thank you.
We'll take
Maybe.
a quick break.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
All right, welcome back. We're getting a look at the first live action film, Peter Pan and Wendy.
Yep, and look closely, see if you can tell who's playing Captain Hook.
What do you say, boys? You ready for an adventure? It looks very far away.
It's closer than you think.
Wendy, Moira, Angela, darling. Where is Peter Pan?
Oh.
Who is it? Because I couldn't tell. Who do you guess?
Gosh, I can't think of his name. I can see his face. Oh. So the film is a remake of it. Did you see it? Okay. There it is, Jude, and that's not who I was thinking. So it's a remake of the 1953 Disney movie. In this version, Jude Law plays Captain Hook.
Cool.
Debuts on Disney Plus April 28th. Disney is the parent company of ABC7. Not who I thought it was. I'm glad I didn't say anything.
I do
That
like
was
the
wrong.
Peter Pan ride at Disney World.
Oh, do you?
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Is that a fast one or a slow one?
Oh, honey, I can't do anything fast.
Oh, okay. So it's like
slow, but it's dark and scary.
Oh, okay. Not like It's a Small World after all.
Kind of, but you're kind of floating through the.
Oh, okay. Ooh, sounds like a trip.
All right, let's go.
All right, some people, we should do a show from there.
Oh, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
You know we can.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We have.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're listening,
put
the
that
people
out
can
there.
make that happen.
That's right.
I can do traffic in Florida.
Of course you can. Of course you can. Technology, right?
Yeah.
Some people who like to fish might wait all day without getting any action. We know that.
You know how that goes, yeah. And then there are some who find themselves in the middle of this. Yeah, he'll have enough fishing rods for that.
Right.
Feeding frenzy of they're sharks too, swarming off the waters of the Louisiana coast. Dylan May shot the video, says that he and some friends were out there fishing for yellowfin tuna when they came across the sharks attacking a bait pod. The sharks were so riled up that some of them were sending water over the side of the boat.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right?
scary.
It is a little scary,
just about
right?
to say, I don't know that I could film that. I would be so scared.
Well, you wouldn't want to fall into the water during that.
Yeah, because look, the boat could start swaying
Oh,
and rocking.
yeah. Pass.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Good for them. I guess you can't capture a shark, can you?
You can.
I know they were going for the
bite, you can
yellowfish
reel
tuna.
them in, yeah.
But would they want to get one of those since they're Jaws? Now I have seen the movie Jaws.
That one you have seen.
Congratulations, Bill.
Right.
Finally found a movie you've seen.
And I like that ride at Universal Studios.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Okay. For Tracy Ross and Phil, I'm Val Warner.
And I'm Terrell Brown. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a really busy morning today. Tanya will have a news update and latest what's going on, weather and traffic with Tracy and Roz in just a bit. From everyone here at ABC7, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
This has been Eyewitness News, streaming at 7. Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It is 7:56. I'm Tanya Babich. This morning, a major political shift in power in Chicago as Mayor Lori Lightfoot has lost her bid for a second term. Lightfoot finished in third place during yesterday's election. The top two candidates, Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson, will face off in a runoff April 4th. Last night, the mayor thanked her supporters and told the crowd she was proud of her work in the city. The winner of the runoff will assume office May 15th. We'll check on weather and traffic for you up next.
Well, good morning to you. We are starting with a look at our current temperatures. And right now it's 41 degrees out at O'Hare. It is 40 degrees now at Midway, 38 degrees currently over at the lakefront. Today, my goodness, it is going to feel very spring-like with those temperatures this afternoon headed up into the mid to upper 50s. So we are anticipating, like I said, a spring-like day. Tomorrow it is going to be turning much cooler. Friday, we are looking at some snow coming our direction. Roz, what are you focusing on now?
It's been a busy morning, and we start with a crash in Waukegan. This is at Delaney Road, and it's causing some delays there. Big picture, we're still looking at anywhere from 55 minutes to an hour 20 for the travel times. We're seeing some delays on 355, 294, southbound I-55. We still have only one lane open. Approaching US 6 much earlier. This was 6 o'clock in the morning. Truck fire, it's backed up for about 4 miles, and there you see it. We still have only one lane open.